Hello and welcome back to the Icons of Sin. Me and Chris are back. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, hello. I am good, my friend. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I'm excited about today's topic. Gonna be fun. But first, what have you been playing lately, Chris? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a bit of Maple Story, getting back on that.
Excellent. You put a lot of hours into Maple Story over the years, so
Yeah, back when I was like a teenager, I put
Uh-huh.
quite a lot of rocks. Stop biting my hand. Uh, Yeah, back when I was a teenager, she's not letting up today.
No, clearly.
Yeah, back when I was a teenager, I put a lot of hours into that, and I used to play with like a load of people from school. So yeah, I've been playing that again, doing a few more dungeons, trying to level up. Been playing Age of Empires again, of course.
Yeah, what campaign are you on now?
I'm on, the what's it called? It's like the campaign menu. It's like the random campaigns where it has like loads of different like individual.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like it's just one campaign per like thing.
Per faction, yeah.
Yeah, but there's loads of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck on a few of them. There's a boat based one that you need to escort a boat through like some like canyons when everyone's shooting at you.
Dude, I think like escort missions in almost every game suck. I hate them.
Yeah,
Goddamn hate them. In any genre, I hate them.
But this one, when you transport the first boat, then there's like a 5-minute timer that counts down, and you have to go and protect another boat from like a different area of the map.
Nightmare.
And there's just so many enemies, and you cannot get enough resources to build the amount of boats you need to win. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on that, and it's really frustrating.
I always remember back in the day when playing Command and Conquer, there's that awful mission, which nowadays is fine. Once you know how to do it, you're sorted. But that first time I came across that mission where you start off with just an APC and a couple of guys, you have to go around rescuing other guys to get more to get more soldiers. That mission always used to stump me. Those missions when they really restrict what you can and can't use, or when you've got to like take one vehicle or one ship through an area just filled with enemies, it's just absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it sucks. So obviously, I play Age of Empires as I build up my defense first before I build my army, because we've talked about this before. But you start off with a few ships and like 2 villagers working a farm.
Yeah,
and you don't get any more.
Yeah, that sucks.
you can't build a town center or anything. So and plus you're on a timer when one boat is delivered to the docks. There's like a 5-minute timer where until
you've got 5
the other
minutes to complete.
Yeah, until the other boat comes, and there's like 6. Well, I actually think it's like 8 boats. So you get one boat, and then when that's delivered, the next 5-minute timer starts. But you cannot, or I haven't figured out how to gather resources to build enough boats to actually win, because I think I get like halfway, and then the boat gets destroyed, and then you lose, and then you got to start again. And I'm just like, this is not how I play the game. I know it's supposed to challenge you, but
yeah, it's always frustrating because especially with the strategy game, you do build your own personal strategy. And I'm like you. I will take ages build a defense in a strategy game. Generally, I'm always like build my base of operations first, get it defendable, get it sorted, and then start gathering resources, then build out from there, start building your units and go. And it always kind of sucks when a single player game, which makes sense because they want to mix it up a bit, but it always sucks when something's completely against your gameplay style and you're like, oh, this is not how I play the game.
Yeah, like I do like if there's a lot of water, I do quite enjoy building a big navy.
Oh, navy, yeah.
Just to like, just come in. I'll send my navy in by sea, destroy all their docks, all their towers near the sea, and then I'll send in my like forces by land. So I attack on 2 fronts. I do like doing that.
Yeah,
but this campaign doesn't give you the time or the resources to build up like enough This is why I think because we've played me and you together on Age of Empires.
Yeah, we
I
played
reckon
once or
it'd be
twice.
once or twice. Yeah, I reckon it'd be interesting if we did a versus because we
Yeah.
both sort of have the same play style. So it'd be
Yeah.
like it would be interesting because we're both going to have like big defenses, but we also both like getting a big navy and
Yeah.
a
It'd
big.
probably end in one big epic battle. I always like.
It would.
I'm always a big fan of the ceasefires in strategy games. You know, if I play with someone generally and the game has a ceasefire, I'll be like, right, let's put a ceasefire on for like 20 minutes and just build up our forces, and then
Yeah, no,
we'll fight.
I normally do a 20-minute ceasefire as well.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's just more fun that way. I think once you're established, it's just it's good.
I reckon we should do a versus sometime because
I'll do that.
That could be very interesting to see because obviously quite similar play styles. So it'd be quite interesting to see who comes out on top.
You will, because you play it like every day. I've like literally not played. Like the last time I played Age of Empires was the last time we had a game of Age of Empires. So yeah,
oh right,
and before that was probably like a year before. You know, I don't play that often, but I'm well up for a game though. It sounds like fun, man. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun last time we played. It was good. It's good fun.
Yeah, definitely. But a versus, but also with voice chat so we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
We won't tell each other what we're doing, but
no.
Yeah, no, we'll have to arrange
that. Could be fun, man. Yeah, I am up for that.
That sounds good.
We could do it as an episode potentially, just talking while we play. But we'll
podcasting while battling.
Yeah, man. Why not? Podcasting while gaming. Maybe that's the future.
Wow, I've got my camera now, so.
You do.
I just did finger guns towards the camera, realizing it's not actually on.
Yep. But well, I've been playing a lot of Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm obsessed with this game now. I've put so many hours in. Both I've started. I've got a single player conquest mode in the immersive mode going on, and then I've also got a separate character for multiplayer playing with Ben, and I've been having an absolute blast. Really good fun. So that's been consuming most of my my free time in terms of gaming. But yeah, well, aside from reading for podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, you've got to finish a book, don't you?
I finished it just now. I got Kelly's recording almost immediately after this. Got to find out what happens to George and Enid after their plane crash, but that will mean nothing to anyone who's listening to this podcast, I wouldn't have thought. And it's not what we're here to talk about today, because today we're going to be talking about Dead Space. When did you first, discover the old Dead Space?
I believe it was back in the PS3 days when I got the first one.
Mm-hmm. So did you get it like around launch, or did you just come across it later, or?
I think I got it like a year or two later because I was when I used to when I get like on payday back in the PS3 days, I used to go to my local game shop and have a browse around the games.
Man, I miss those days. The days of going to the game store and just seeing what you could find.
Yeah, no, they were great because you could just have a browse of the games. Like, I'd never go to like actual game or what was the other one? I can't remember.
There's a couple. Game was the game's the big one in this country.
There I got like a little like self-owned game shop.
The best ones where the shopkeeper knows games as well, and they can talk to you about games and advise you on games, and
Yeah, well, I was in there every week, so I used to be on like first name basis with the guy that owned it because I was either in there buying games, buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dead Space was on sale, so I was like, let's give that a go, and I absolutely loved it. Now I got it on. I got the first. Is there Dead Space 4?
Not yet.
So I have all three of them. On the Steam Winter Sale, which I think I mentioned last time.
I think that's when we decided we were going to do this. Was when we talked about that last time. You got it as a bargain on the Steam sale for the trilogy, which is awesome, man. That's pretty fun.
I managed to get, I think it was like 8 games in total for less than 40 quid, and it was all 3 Dead Space games, all 3 Dark Souls games. I think I got Golf It and Oh, wait, no, I got Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4 as
Nice.
well. Yeah,
Nice.
so I got an absolute bargain. But yeah, I started playing that again on PC. Still getting the hang of aiming with the mouse.
You could, yeah, I mean, you could plug a controller in, if
Yeah,
need be.
but the thing of getting a PC it was that I can play more games, but I also want to get better at playing keyboard and mouse.
Mouse
So
aiming and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
I do have a controller. I just don't
I
want to
think
plug it in.
Dead Space works well with a keyboard and mouse. Actually, I played through it on the Steam version with keyboard and mouse at one point, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's definitely not as scary as it was when I originally played it.
No, I mean it is. I mean, Dead Space is quite a. I mean, it's a linear game, and once you've done those big shock moments, it's less shocking the second time you play it. But I still think that game looks pretty good even today. I mean, it's a 2008 game, and I think even today it looks fine.
Oh, good. The graphics definitely hold up. But I had an issue.
Oh, what, back in the day or recently?
No, recently.
Okay.
When sometimes I think it happened because I've done a few videos on it now. I've only posted one of them. The other two I still need to edit. But when the starting gun would run out of ammo,
yeah,
it would like the game would bug and freeze and have my gun outright like I'm aiming, which stopped me from being able to interact with doors or even pick up ammo.
Okay, I've not had that problem. That's odd.
No, I've had it a few times. So when I ran out of ammo, I'd see some ammo on the floor. I'd go over to it, but my gun is still outstretched and it won't let me interact with anything. Or if I'm being chased by the mutant things,
necromorphs. Yeah,
is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. You learn something new every day.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'd have my gun outstretched, and if I wanted to try and get through a door to get out of the way of them, I couldn't interact with the door.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, it's been very buggy.
So that's odd. Maybe they've done some silly update recently. This kind of bugged the game out. You know, Steam they tend to do this when they update old games. Half the time, they just make the game worse than it already was. It's like you should have just left it. Should have just left it. It was fine.
But overall, I'm loving it.
It's such a good game. So for people that haven't played Dead Space, it's set in the future, like 2,500 and something, I think. And Earth's kind of had an extinction level event, and basically humanity now lives out in the stars, and to get resources, they've got these big, huge ships called planet crackers, I think they're called, and they just basically mine all of the planets of their resources. And there's a fleet of them, but the Ishimura, I think, was the first of them, and has had this issue. They've lost contact with the crew. It's very Event Horizon, and basically you're sent.
I do love that film.
Oh man, do you know it's such?
It's so underrated.
This isn't the movies made us do it, but fuck me, that movie is underrated. I absolutely love that film. It's got some dodgy CG because of the time it was made, and the original cut, which probably doesn't exist anymore, sounds like it was way better than what we got. It was way more horrific, but what we got, I love Event Horizon. I think Event Horizon's a damn fine movie.
We've got the original cut on VHS.
No, you haven't. The original cut doesn't exist. The original cut never ever got made. So
it says. Oh no, it's director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut. So there's the original cut of the movie was far more gory and disturbing, to the point that I think they just never released it.
So in my mind, when you said cut, I was like, we've got one that says cut.
Yeah, I think the director's cut's got a bit more.
It's director's cut, not original cut. Sorry, my bad.
It's a big push to get the original cut, but I think, to be honest, it's probably been destroyed and it will never be found. So shame. But yeah, underrated movie, dude. Love that movie. And there's some very much Event Horizon about this. This game.
There is.
But yeah, you play as Isaac Clarke, who another thing.
I didn't know he had a name.
He does. Well, he keeps getting called Isaac through the first game, I think. But from the second game onwards, he's actually voiced as well. So you kind of get to know him a lot more as a character.
See, I don't like that. If when the
we'll get to that because it's interesting. One of the things I love about Dead Space is that he's not voiced. I love that about the first game, and I love that they still managed to emote enough through the game for you to get his feelings. You get how he's doing, and I think it's a weird one because he's a silent protagonist, which normally would mean you are meant to be whatever character you want to be, and he's just silent. But obviously he does have a character in the game, so he's got a character, and you're playing a very specific character, but he's silent. It's kind of an odd thing, but it works.
The thing I don't like is if series starts out with like an unvoiced protagonist, and then say in
it's not the voice, is it? It's not the voice in your head.
No, but the thing, if they start out unvoiced, that's cool. Carry on. If they start out voiced, that's fine, carry on. But when they start unvoiced and then add a voice in, I'm just like, no, it's not the right feeling.
It's one of the things that bugs me about Fallout 4. Fallout games, it's like, no, it's my voice, it's my character. And then Fallout 4 comes along and it's like, no, you're forced to have this voice and this character and you're forced to do these things. It's like, no, it's not what I want, But for this game, having Isaac silent works so well, and I think you still get a lot of things emoted. Like I love the way the mask that you have, the helmet, changes over time. So it starts off like the helmet design looks quite innocent. You look innocent and kind of and kind of wide-eyed, and then by the end of the game you're kind of hardened in the helmet's changed in its design and stuff to where you look a lot more hardened and tough. So they kind of get like emotions in there. But what I really love is that in this game, you would assume, right? You'd be like, we're going in, we're military. We're going to be a military guy going in with the grunts, space marines. But you're not. You're an engineer. You're going in with a team of people, with a team of grunts. But you are just an engineer. And I think, not being trained for military encounters and having the limited movement that Isaac's got as a character, because he's quite it's a survival, well, it's not a survival horror game, it's a horror game, and your movement is quite limited as a result. So you're not this trained guy, and I think that adds to the horror when it's like, oh god, I'm just an engineer. And I think that's really wonderfully reflected in the weapons you get as well, because the weapons are all things that Isaac would use. Or certainly a lot of them. They're cutting devices. They're they have a role that he is used to play.
Use. Yeah, like a practical use.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not designed for what you use them for, but they work very well.
Yeah, I do like. I can't remember what the starting weapon is called.
I was thinking that when you said that earlier, and the name escapes me right now. It's really bugging me, but yeah,
it's like a bolter or something, isn't it? Maybe
something
I don't
like
know.
That. Yeah.
But yeah, being able to change from vertical horizontal fire is really good, especially for taking out limbs. Like horizontal for like arms, and then you go like horizontal for legs, and then you go like vertical for the arms, and it's so good.
It's great, and it adds into the mechanic of the game. This game's kind of big thing at the time when it came out. The big deal was that these necromorphs, they don't necessarily have a brain, or the brain's in a different location because they're horrible mutated creatures. So shoot them in the head doesn't really help you. It's not going to, and it goes against your every thought as a gamer.
Like a hive mind kind of thing.
Yeah. They're reanimated bodies, and your instinct as a gamer is to go for the head. You've been doing that forever, and that's the kind of awesome thing about this game, is that doesn't work. You need to disable the necromorphs. You need to cut off the limbs and find the creature's weaknesses. And those cutting devices.
It is very satisfying.
So satisfying. Taking out the legs is just like, oh, so good.
Watching them then flop, and
yeah,
taking off limbs is very satisfying in Dead Space. I will admit that
it really is. And I love the design of the necromorphs in the first game. They all look very distinctive. They're all very different. They behave differently. You have to learn the strategy to take down each creature.
Oh yeah, but obviously at the moment I'm only like an hour or so in, so I'm not too far. But
have you done a spacewalk yet?
No, not yet.
Okay,
but I do remember that.
Yeah, because that was always fun. I love the it was one of the first games I played where, you know, when you go into space, it's silent or muted sound, isn't it? You can barely hear anything out there.
It reminds me a lot of Alien Isolation.
Yes, it does,
well,
and
Dead Space came first, but
and Prey, the last Prey game they did had a very similar thing, and I think it owes a lot to Dead Space, those games, for kind of I mean, obviously it's not the first game to be in space, but it was it repopularized that kind of idea, I think. And yeah, so Dead Space it's very much well, it feels to me very much like System Shock. System Shock was clearly a heavy inspiration for this game.
I've never played System Shock, or Prey for that matter.
Okay, well, Prey I would recommend. Prey I would recommend. I mean, I would recommend System Shock and System Shock 2, although they're quite old games now.
You know, I love my old games though.
Yeah. I mean, I would give them a go. I think that System Shock 1 and 2 are some of the best horror games I ever played back in the day. But they have a very similar feel in that you're kind of learning the story through logs and audio logs and reading, you know, all of these things, which again in Dead Space you do, you know, and again it's based on this abandoned facility or abandoned ship in space, and it's very similar in that way.
Yeah, and that's where the similarities to Event Horizon come in. It's sort of abandoned ship, you're not sure what's gone on with it, but it looks fine. You get in there and then it's hell.
Yeah, you're not there at the outbreak. You're there in the aftermath. So when you get there, the Ishimura is seemingly, at first at least, completely empty. Everyone's dead. We don't know what's gone on. And everywhere you walk in Dead Space, you see someone's final moments, effectively. You know, you see where someone died, and you see, you know, you kind of piece together what probably happened in your head. And I really love the audio logs. I think the audio logs are really well acted, and they do a really good job of doing that, which System Shock did as well, where you get that they're like seemingly mundane audio logs, some of them, where they're just talking about, oh, I've got to fix this vent down here, and you know, this person, my colleague's being a bitch or whatever. But then they'll drop like some thing of like, something weird's going on with this, by the way, you know, and they just kind of hint at things and they drop things in.
Well, you know, as a big fan of Dark Souls,
yeah,
my favorite method of storytelling is like not telling it. Like, you actually have to go and actively find it.
I completely agree.
I do love that about Dead Space.
Yeah, there's a lot of story in Dead Space. If you're willing to read through the logs, listen to the audio tapes and stuff, it's great stuff. And I agree with you completely. That is my preferred way of. I
did just realize that Dead Space and Dark Souls both have the same like initials. If you'd call a game title initials,
yeah, they do. I don't know if that's a coincidence, or I guess it probably is.
It's probably a coincidence, but yeah, like if you play it and then like don't bother with the audio logs, you still have a good time.
Absolutely.
But if you want deeper lore,
it's there.
Then you can read the story as you go, as you find it. And I really like that way of like telling a story. Like, the story's there, but if you don't want to read the story, you still have a fun game. But if you do want to read the story, you understand things more differently.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, and that's good game design, in my opinion. The story is there if you want it. If you want to go look for it, you can find the story. If you don't, you can just enjoy it as a survival horror, you know, game, or a horror game. It's not really a survival horror game; it's a horror game. And you can just play through that. But I absolutely adore Dead Space. I'm trying not to spoil something. I'm trying to think of a way of saying it. There is a moment, and
I have finished the first one. So.
Oh, you finished the first one? Okay, so
yes, I finished the first one back in the PS3 days. So
the first
spoilers are okay.
Okay, cool. So for the first game, at least. So the first time. I think it's the first or second time you've been out in space and you come back in and that goddamn tentacle grabs you. The first time that happened,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit. When you get dragged back through
I remember I dropped my controller when that happened.
Such a cool moment. Is that moment always, whenever anyone says Dead Space to me, it's that moment that sticks in my head, that feeling I had the first time that happened, because it came out of nowhere the first time. It's hard to replicate that fear the second time you play through.
When anyone says Dead Space, automatically that iconic helmet with the the lights down the back, that's what comes to my mind. And I only just realised that the lights down the back is your fucking health bar.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if I knew that back when I was playing it on PS3.
You just hadn't noticed this time around.
Yeah, no, I did notice this time around, because when I got hit, I noticed the lights went down. I was like, oh, that's my health bar. Right, got it.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that Dead Space did really well, is it got rid of the HUD. You don't have any HUD. You've just got your body with the spines kind of showing you how much life you've got left. You've got the holographic interface that Isaac uses. So it's not on the screen; it's in front of him. He brings up the map. He brings up the holographic images when they're having they're talking to each other and stuff and communicating. And you've also got that great feature where you could got that navigation feature where it'll show you a holographic line on the ground as to where you should be going if you get lost.
I haven't noticed that. I might need that.
Yeah,
I did get lost a little bit.
It's quite useful if you'd have to find the key binding. I don't know what the key binding would be, but it'll put a line on the floor and show you which direction you probably need to be traveling.
Yeah, well, I was bringing up the map a lot, and especially when I couldn't get. Well, when my game was glitched and I couldn't get through doors. I was like, oh. Yeah, but the first time it happened, it's like, am I going the wrong way? Is it not just let me through the door because it's the wrong way? I pulled up the map and I was like, no, it is this way.
Yeah. But yeah, I absolutely adore that first Dead Space game.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, the graphics really did age well. They're still. I
think they do. I still think it looks really good.
No, it does. It does look amazing, because I went back and played some. Obviously, I went back and played a bit of Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and the graphics on that did not age very well.
That's a lot older, in fairness. But yeah,
I'm not sure when that came out, but yeah, it's. Well, it was on PS2, so yes, a lot older.
It's a generation older, at least, yeah. But yeah, I still think it looks great. It really does.
Yeah, but then again, on PS2, Need for Speed Most Wanted still does kind of hold up. It's not the best graphics.
There are some games that hold up well.
Yeah, not compared to the latest Need for Speeds, but it still does hold up.
There's something about the visuals of Dead Space that really works well. I think it does a real good job with lighting as well, which definitely helps.
Definitely. Although, I have found that, the vents that the monsters come out of.
Yeah, you can tell which ones are going to come out of.
Yeah, the texture are different.
Yeah,
you can notice that. We were walking past, like, no, that's fine. Someone's going to jump out of that. Oh, they jumped out. Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you notice after a while, but it works really well to begin with.
I suppose if you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, that was the same with, Resident Evil, the dogs jumping through the window thing. It was terrifying at the time, but then you know when they're going to do it. Until the director's cut.
I do want to play some more horror games, but I don't know what to play.
Okay. It depends what kind of horror game you want to play, really. What kind of horror you're into. Do you like the more survival stuff? Do you like the more action-orientated horror like this?
Well, you've seen me stream horror games. I'm terrible at horror games. I just want horror games that will make me jump, make me scared. I don't care if it's action or survival. Anything that would be fun for people to watch on stream, because I'm hopeless at horror games as it is.
Well, Amnesia is probably a must. The first Amnesia.
I've heard good things about that. But
it's a very good game.
I was also thinking of Fear, the first one.
Oh, dude, the first Fear is an awesome game. One of the most underrated FPS games. I love that game. Fear is fantastic. Still holds up very well, so I definitely give that a go.
Let's have a look on Steam.
100% recommend that one.
Oh, also, I kind of want to give Five Nights at Freddy's a go.
Yeah, I hear good things about it. I've not played it
Yeah,
myself.
I've not played it myself, but I watched a few videos, and it's very much a jump scare game. And even me watching people play it made me jump. So I reckon because when it comes to like horror movies, I'm fine watching. Horror games when I'm actually the person like controlling it.
It's
When
far more
like
scary, isn't it, when it's you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I even jumped watching someone play Five Nights at Freddy's. So I'm like, I kind of want to play this and I kind of want to stream it because I know I'm going to be terrible and I know I'm going to be jumping out of my seat and I know I'm going to be shouting. And it just seems like a really fun thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm also dreading it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I'd give it a go. I'd watch it. I'll watch it.
Well, you were like excited for my Outlast stream.
For as long as it lasted, I was very excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
got to the point where it's like, no, my heart is done. I'm just ending it now.
Yeah. I mean, I could recommend a lot of horror games on different systems if you feel inclined, but I would definitely recommend Amnesia since you're now on the PC kind of side of things. Amnesia was like one of the groundbreaking things about Amnesia was that it was one of those first games where you don't have weapons and you've got to avoid enemies and stuff, which now has become a bit of a trope, but that's how it
that's exactly what Outlast does. Never mind.
Yeah, so it is pre-Outlast. It's kind of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say,
certainly the game that popularized it anyway was Amnesia.
Yeah, I was thinking, you got no weapons. That'd be a bit weird. But I was like, no, I've played Outlast. That's the same concept.
Same concept. Yep. Same idea.
I do want to go back through Alien Isolation though. That because I never got into it on PS4.
It's a fantastic game. I think that game loves the Alien universe more than any other game I've ever played.
It's very suspenseful.
Sorry?
It's very suspenseful.
It's very suspenseful, but also it oozes the Alien worlds. It's perfect. The design of that game, you feel like you are in Alien.
Yeah, it really does have the vibe of the movies because obviously the alien isn't showing up every 5 seconds.
Well, no, and also just the set design, the music, like everything is just. And you want to talk about a game that still looks amazing today. That game looks fantastic even now. Yeah,
I really want to play through that. I think I'm definitely going to need a better graphics card before I try and play something like that because.
I don't know. It's reasonably old now, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but still, all the like the
lighting and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say atmosphere, but that's the wrong word. Like the design and all the detail, which is like spot on for the Alien movies.
It really is.
I don't think the potato graphics card I have will do that justice.
Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, back to Dead Space. I absolutely adore that first game. I think it's one of the most fun. It's probably the best horror game on the PS3, in my opinion. I would say. I mean, for me, the PS2. When I think PS2, I always think horror games because I think the PS2 has like the best horror games of probably any console for me.
I'm relatively new to horror games. I didn't start playing horror games until the PS4.
Yeah,
just because they never really appealed to me, and then. Honestly, I think Outlast was my first real horror game. Obviously,
that's a hell of a horror game to start with, dude. That game is terrifying for most people.
I started with like Dead Space on the PS3 or something, but I didn't really think that was like a horror game. I thought it was just
it's a horror. It's not a survival horror. I don't think. I would argue it's an action horror game. But there are some scary moments for sure.
Yeah, no, there definitely are. But obviously, my first like out and out horror game, I think, was Outlast.
Yeah,
and then I was kind of like, you know what? This is actually obviously because this is when I'm like making videos and stuff. I was like, this is actually good content. I'm scared of the games, but it's a funny reaction, especially when I watch it back. So I was like, yeah, I'll get into horror games a bit more, and now I'm sort of just hooked.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, obviously Isaac is has another reason for being on board the ship. Obviously, he's trying to find his girlfriend. who worked there. I think she's called Nicole, isn't she? She was like a medical officer on the ship. And you're trying to find her throughout the game.
I know she was a medical officer. I'm not sure about the name.
Yeah, I can't remember. Because you get another girlfriend later on in the series. So she might be the second one, not the first one. I can't remember. But yeah, obviously he has his other reason for going through the game. And like you said, I think the story's really good here. The game kind of focuses a lot more on what happened on board the ship rather than your personal story. The game kind of goes quite a long time sometimes between kind of filling us in on Isaac's story. It focuses a lot more on what happened, the fate of the Ishimura, and what happened to the people that lived there. But such a good game.
Yeah, and I find because Dead Space is a bit of an old game.
Yeah,
I do find that the older games do have longer story or longer campaigns or whatever.
It feels that way to me.
Yeah, because Dead Space it wasn't a quick game to complete, but it wasn't overly long. They got boring, but it wasn't too short.
No.
So I find a lot of games now, their solo or campaign modes are pretty short. They focus on multiplayer, but Dead Space really nailed down. It wasn't too long, but it wasn't too short. It was that kind of when you finished it, you felt this is long enough to complete the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a few games around that time have that feel for me, where it's if it had gone on much longer, I think it might have got tired. I always felt that way about Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham Asylum, the first one. I think it's
never played
the
Batman
perfect length, where if it had gone on much longer, it would have got you would have seen through the facade of I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. Where if it had gone on any longer. And I think the same with Dead Space, where it's just long enough. It's long enough for the story, it's long enough for the gameplay, and you get to the end and I feel satisfied. You know what happens to your girlfriend in Dead Space, right? Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
She dies. Does she die?
Does
she mutate? Is she the final boss?
No. So she has always been dead since the start of the game. But there's a funny thing. There's a funny bit of trivia. If you take the first letter from every chapter of the game, it spells Nicole is dead.
Really?
Yeah. Or whatever her name is. I think it is Nicole, the first one. Yeah, it literally tells you if you actually looked at the first letter of every chapter. But yeah, a wonderful game. I really can't fault that first Dead Space game. I don't want to go into
apart from the bugs that I'm experiencing.
I don't think that's the game. I think that's Steam. Steam's fucked that. Yeah.
Maybe,
or someone's updated it and fucked it, because that was certainly not the case when I played through it originally on the PS3 or Xbox. And I don't remember having that problem on PC either. So yeah, I think that must be they've done some recent update and just buggered that up. To be honest, that would be my gut feeling.
Hopefully they fix it, because
I hope so too, dude. If you look online, there might be a patch to fix it that someone's done. It's got quite a big fan base, Dead Space. So
yeah, because it does make it a bit unplayable. When you run out of ammo, if you've got ammo, it's fine. Yeah. Unless you want to get through a door. But if you run out of ammo and then there's necromorphs. Yeah, is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the necromorphs following you and you're trying to get through a door to escape, but you can't interact with the door because you're still holding a gun up,
it's a problem.
Yeah, you die quite a bit,
mm-hmm.
Which I did in my Dead Space, my first Dead Space video.
Yeah, well, I think that's the natural progression for everyone. You know, it's all good. You die and then you learn how to do it differently, and you come up with different strategies. Well, I won't ruin Dead Space 2, because I'm assuming once you've done Dead Space, you're going to move on to Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3. Work your way through the story.
I finished Dead Space 1 originally.
Yeah.
I got a few hours into Dead Space 2, but I've never played Dead Space 3. So yeah, no spoilers for those two, because I haven't finished them.
No, I will say, like, Dead Space 2 does change things up a little. You know, the voice acting is there for Isaac. He has a voice. Although I do think it works quite well. Once you get used to it, it's like, actually, it works well for his character and it works well in that game. I would say that even though I personally really can't stand Dead Space 3, I do think the story's good the whole way through. I think the story of the Dead Space story is great from 1 to 3. I think it's a good...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about Dead Space 3, but then again, I did hear a metric shit ton of bad things about Dark Souls 2.
And you love it. It's your favorite one, right?
Yeah, it is my favorite one. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes what I find is, because I heard like a load of bad things about like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really? I heard nothing but praise.
Oh, I saw like massive amounts of people shitting on it.
I didn't see that at all, man. That's interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
It's a great game.
Yeah, it is. I think it's great.
But yeah, what I generally find is that I tend to enjoy the games that a lot of people fucking hate.
Yeah. Well, that's fine, and you may well enjoy Dead Space 3, and I hope you do. I think either way, you've got a bargain, because even if you just got Dead Space 1 and 2, they're great games and worth the money. But Dead Space 3 does have some cool things. It's got a really, I think, a really fun crafting system in Dead Space 3, where you craft weapons, so you can make really weird combinations of weapons and stuff because obviously Isaac's an engineer, so it makes sense. He can kind of craft these different weapons together and make different things, and like you can add stasis onto your guns and add it's fun. It's really fun. So there are some things to like. There's a co-op thing in Dead Space 3 as well, if you ever feel like doing co-op in a Dead Space game.
Yeah, me and you on Dead Space 3 sounds fun.
No, I'd be up for it. Why not?
Do you have Dead Space 3?
I've got it on Xbox 360, but I can pick it up for Steam if when you get to that point.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a while. I've got 2 games to get through, and also at some point I need to start playing Dark Souls trilogy on PC, because I still haven't. Oh, yeah. I've installed it, but I still haven't actually opened the game yet.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. And of course, when you do have your graphics card, next year I think it is, we do have the Dead Space remake on the way, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very curious as to what they do, because like we've said here, I still think the graphics of Dead Space look fantastic. They
do look fantastic, but there is still if they update it with proper shading and everything, it could go from fantastic to fucking fantastic.
Oh, it could, but I don't personally. I'm hoping they don't just do that, because that to me is a waste of time. I would love, if they're going to do it, I hope they go down the Resident Evil 2 route of really expanding the game and really make it bigger, make it a bigger
that would be ideal.
Yeah,
but most game developers are just like, we'll remaster the graphics and re-release it. Money.
And that to me, I very rarely buy remasters, because I'm just like, what's the point? I don't care. I'm happy with the original graphics. I've never been one to care about graphics personally. It just doesn't bother me. Each to their own. But if you add new elements and you change the game up a little, give us some different things, then I'll be all on board with a Dead Space remake, because that universe is great, and I really want to delve back into it.
If they also randomize the vents that the
well, yeah, I mean that kind of thing they can definitely fix. Make the textures uniform.
Oh yeah, no, not just the texture. Just say if you run through it, because they always come out the same vents.
Yep.
But if they randomize that, so if you play it through once and play it through again and go, oh, this vent hasn't got a monster, and then it jumps out.
Do a Resident Evil director's cut, is what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of randomize what vents they come out of, so it's never the same vent twice. And then obviously the textures, but yeah, that would make it more interesting, because instead of no monster in that vent, no monster in that vent. Oh, there's a monster in that vent. Instead of that, it's like they all look normal, and then it just jumps out the first one where it's never come out before. I reckon that'd be
It'll be fun, man. I'm really excited to see, when they give us some gameplay footage of the remaster, what it looks like and what kind of thing they're going for. I'm super excited because I think Dead Space is such a great franchise, and it's such a shame that they haven't done anything with it for so long. So yeah, really excited to see what they do with the remake. And I'm really excited to hear, as you play through Dead Space, Dead Space 2 and 3, how you get on and what you think of the story. Going to learn all about the markers and the Brethren moons and all of that good stuff, or good, awful, horrific stuff. Going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah.
Oh, carry on.
No, go for it. What were you going to say?
That at some point we need to carry on with Left 4 Dead, and also we need to start the Forest.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in for the Forest. So that's
yeah. I was thinking of horror games, and the Forest is on my desktop right now. Just look the icons, looking at it.
Okay, well maybe we should do the Forest this week sometime. I've got to record another podcast after this one, but maybe in the week we could do the Forest together and make a start on a horror game together. I'm up for that. Yeah,
definitely. Because obviously, Forest is horror survival.
Oh yeah,
but with the storyline, which I've never completed.
Yeah, well, let's do that. I'm up for the Forest. I was actually really enjoying Destiny 2 as well, by the way.
We can do that too. We
could alternate, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I don't really do anything in the evenings after I get home. I take Rox for a walk, and then I'm pretty much gaming all the time. So.
Yeah.
Any day this week, we could do the Forest, Destiny, and Left 4 Dead in the same week. I don't care, mate. I don't do anything.
Left 4 Dead, we need to arrange properly because I think we need Ben and Mike back for that. Left 4 Dead clearly needs 4 players ideally, so I think we'll arrange that. We'll arrange that in the future, and maybe we should live stream or record that again because we did the first time, and that was good fun.
If I play games now, I'm recording or streaming, regardless.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's always either recording or it's always live.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Why not? But yeah, let's do that. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah.
On our talk of Dead Space and brief asides to other horror games. If you've got any suggestions for horror games for Chris to play.
Oh yeah, give him
he's got a PS4, he's got a PC, so
PS4 is dead.
Oh, the PS4 is dead. Okay.
The
PC. You got a wealth of older PC games that will run fine on your PC, and they'll be cheap on Steam, and it'll be really fun to watch you play them. I want to see you play Five Nights at Freddy's. That'll be fun.
It is only like £4 right now on stream.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty cheap. Yeah,
but I can't buy it just yet.
No. But if you wait, it'll only go down in price. So
no, it's the reason I can't buy it. Roxy's got her annual vaccines on Tuesday, and they can range anywhere from like £40 to £80. So I'm not going to spend anything until that's done.
No, I agree. Pets are not cheap, but they're worth it.
No, they're not. Oh, they are. Yeah, she's been nibbling my ankle this entire call.
Well, you can go give her some attention now. But yes, thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, guys. Bye.